Alright, I'm going to read a poem. I've, in the small amount of time that I've been on the site, I've never seen anyone do it, but I figure why not. So this poem is a little old. I just found it in my notebook. Wrote it a couple of months ago. It's called Little Bird. Alright. But first off, can you hear me? Can you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to read poetry and people not be able to understand what I'm saying. Can you Should I speak louder or enunciate more, or can you hear me? Should I get closer to the laptop? No response. Okay, well, I guess I'll just read it then. Alright. She sits looking at a sheet of glass, warped and opaque, a reminder of the dreams and wishes taken away from the children, mothers and fathers, stained by the tortures longer and longer. They keep on pacing and turning away the jaws of entrapment, gilded bars of corruption, for sins they are paying and praying, judged by their brothers and sisters replaying. Corroded memories, junctions in time, perceptions are altered, wrinkles in the mind, just an inch removed from the freedom we fought for, a lifetime lost to an iron-wrought door. Forgotten by those on the outside and cursed by the others who haunt her, the ones on the inside. A rotting flower cringing from the water, behaviors negating the values they taught her. Thoughts of better days come and they go, the pitiless sorrow she won't let show. She's a gladiator, she's a patron saint. Punished for morals, she accepts her fate. The gavel slams and the verdict is read. An example to be made of, justice in his head. Raping, no clue of the decision he chose. A babe was martyred and a woman arose. Same old story of right and wrong, depressing plot lines, moping along, dragging knuckles, drudging through the sand. No one gets the story, no one understands. The ending twists you, it trips and turns, and warns of the rising tides. It burns to see the heroine of the tale try and try and try and pale in comparison to the sequel, a rebirth of no equal. Little bird, don't drop your chin. Once you think it's over, the real story begins. What used to be and what's no longer, one and the same, they've moved on yonder. A plaguing sickness, a loving witness, watches from behind a half-inch of thickness. The glass curtain that won't come down, a mile thicker to her troubled eyes now. Little bird, raise your head, it will end before it gets worse again. The cruel abuse you're first forced to face can hold no bearing and haunt no place. In your heart undying, don't you cry, sparkling tears falling from your eye, wiping away without a second glance, or be overcome by their weight, and dance, a dance of lost hope and defeated will. Her body's beaten, bruised and bleeding, swollen from the lesions leaking, beads of sorrow, gems of wisdom, stolen from the emerald kingdom. Walls come crashing down around her, clad in armor, preparing herself for the final battle. Last supper come. Keep your spirits up, it's almost done. The waters cleanse, the winds of plague. What rises falls, nothing the same. As it once was, now so long ago. It'll be past before you know it was here. Alright, that was my it's one of my old poems, Little Bird. If I remember correctly, it was about this woman I knew. She was in jail, and the entire thing is a metaphor. I went to visit her one day, and I was sitting there talking to her, and she broke down crying in tears. I'd never seen this woman show any emotion, and she just breaks down in tears and tells me how all of a sudden she's questioning all the values that she once held strong to herself. And I had to remind her. I'm at the time I was 18 years old, and I'm 19 now. I'm still a child, but I'm sitting there watching this woman just break down in tears in jail for something so silly, something so trivial and just out of control. And she's breaking down to the point where she's questioning every value she's ever held strong in her entire life. And that just really showed to me, it proved to me that the institution of prison is just not a good place. You know, we put people in there, you know, they commit petty crimes. They steal a Twinkie, or you know, they jaywalk, or they run a red light, and they get put in jail for, you know, they could have been on probation for, say someone stole a Twinkie and then they got put on probation or something, and then a week later they ran a red light. Okay, they're in jail for months, and they're sitting there in jail with hardened criminals, people who kill, people who, arsonists, serial rapists, you know, all of them. They're all just out of control. Like, people that you would not find on the streets, people that if you saw on the streets, you would know to stay away from them instantly. And we're throwing petty criminals in there with hardened criminals. People come out completely different people, and it was just, you know, it was absurd to me to see such a thing. So I wrote the poem as a metaphor for my memory of sitting there looking this woman in the eye while she cried to me, telling me that everything in her life no longer meant a thing to her. And yeah, so Little Bird was actually the woman herself. It was a metaphor for the woman. But yeah, that was my poem, Little Bird. So hope you enjoyed. See you later.